Hi everybody, so today's video is going to be super fun. I just posted a book cover design video where I tested out Canva for the first time, and on that video I got a fantastic comment from a fellow authortuber, Wynter. I will link Wynter's channel. So on that video, Wynter left a comment and said, you could literally design a book cover using a cardboard box and it would be amazing. I know it was like not meant literally, but I got an idea to actually design a book cover out of a cardboard box, and like basically only a cardboard box. And so today's video is going to be me doing that. I just finished it. I've been working on it all day, so I'm so excited to share it with you. Let's jump right into how I made a book cover for my novel Feeding Habits with just a literal cardboard popcorn box.
All right, so the very first step of any book cover is to determine some inspiration. So this is a spread of all of the book covers that I was looking up literally at midnight last night. I already had an idea of what I wanted to be in my head, which would be something with like a silhouetted forest. And as you can see, not all of the inspo looks very similar at all to what the final book cover will look like, but when I'm looking for inspiration, I'm looking for font, I'm looking for composition, I'm looking for detail, not necessarily like a word for word recitation of the book cover that I'm hoping to make. So in this instance, some of the things that I particularly were going for was obviously that paper texture. I really wanted it to look like it was coming off of the page, and I also wanted it to be minimalist in color, which would be like the Grim Tales book cover. Let's jump right into deconstructing this popcorn box. So this is literally a box of popcorn that I just badly took apart. I did a bad job. And then I measured it to be 5.25 by 8, which is I knew would be the canvas size for my Photoshop file, and that's helpful just to keep an eye on what the actual composition is going to end up looking like in the end, so I don't like put elements outside of like the width, for example. So here's me showing you the thumbnail I made. I first began by sketching a really basic image of what I thought it would look like in my head, and then I did a more detailed one. So the step after that was really to just start cutting things out, and I started cutting out these tree silhouettes, and then I printed off a picture of an antelope silhouette that was a free stock image, and I transferred that using the transfer method onto the cardboard, so it was just a really easy trace. Cutting it out was a bit tricky because it was pretty small, but I used an X-Acto knife, and then I painted the trees black with black acrylic paint. Then I painted the antelope red. I really wanted the differentiation in color, the dark trees and then the super bright red. Then I started playing around with the composition, and I already kind of knew what I wanted. I wanted the trees to sort of be like curtains and for the antelope to be in the center. Then I used my DSLR to photograph this to the best of my ability, and then I began working on the actual hand lettering. So that was just me writing it out a million times, and I finally got one I liked. So as you can see, I've pulled my name into a different software. It's not Photoshop, it's actually GIMP, because GIMP is so much better at removing the background for text elements like this. I did that for all three of the elements, which was the title, my name, and then the little novel tag. And then it was just building it in Photoshop. I, of course, did edit the photo. It was just to brighten it up a little bit, add a little bit of blue into the white of the paper. And then really, it was just moving things around on the page. I made sure to make my name red. I wanted to have a bit of contrast so it wasn't just black text. And I also made the novel tag red as well. That's kind of a hack that I do. Like the text on top is one color, the text in the middle is a different color, and the text in the bottom is the same color as the text on the top, just to create like a sandwich effect. I really didn't like how my name was looking. It was looking way too busy on the book cover, the first one that I made, so I inputted a much like squishier version of my name that I'd written basically in my own handwriting, and that looked a lot better. Then I added a little quote, which is how liberating it is to be contained, I believe. There were some small elements like adding a drop shadow behind the actual title, but you could probably not really see that in the end. It's just teeny little thing, you know, attention to detail. But this was really simple, but it took me all day because cutting these things out and painting them was a real pain, but I actually had a lot of fun doing it. I've been wanting to do a photographic book cover where I literally photograph like cardboard or paper elements. So I was really happy to be able to do it today. So in the end, I'm just adding a few final touches, spacing out the letters for my name, making sure everything looks nice and even. And that's what I really recommend you do if you were trying to make a book cover for, your own novel. Don't be afraid to adjust or readjust. So this is the final book cover, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And here is a mock-up version of it where it's on a little hardcover, so you can see what it would look like if it was an actual book.
So that's how I made a book cover using a cardboard box. I've designed so many book covers for Feeding Habits in the past because I do have a redesigning my book covers in different genres series that I do, so I usually redesign that book cover. So it has like tons of covers. I've also designed an illustrated book cover, which I printed out on a dust jacket, and I will link that video if you'd like to see that. But I don't have an actual book cover for Feeding Habits, but I think this one is kind of doing it for me. It actually reminds me of the History of Wolves book cover, which is actually not one of my inspiration photos, but I was quite pleased with how it turned out in the end. So I'll probably actually use this one as the Feeding Habits book cover, like the official book cover. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like more book cover content, I do have a whole playlist on making book covers that I will link in the description. I also have a giant backlog of book cover content, which is why this channel has so much book cover content on it right now, because I've just been making book covers a lot lately. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!